So I'm Mike Saunders, and I'm the vicar for Hungerford, which is just a regular Church of England church. So 150 members. Um, but what happened for us started on a Wednesday evening. This is all before COVID, but before COVID, one of our members, Mike Moorcroft, professor and a member of who is employed by Natural England, he set up a Wednesday evening to talk about the challenges of climate change and some possible nature-based solutions. And it got my attention because 80 people turned up on a Wednesday evening, which is quite a lot of people. And in the conversation following, in the questions and answers following, it became clear that the majority of people in the room wanted to do something, and the most popular activity amongst those questions was tree planting. So we set about trying to find places we could plant trees. We have planted a few in the churchyard, but there's limits to what we can do in the churchyard. So mainly we've partnered with our community. And so we started with the school, and we planted every pupil in the school planted one tree. And those trees were supplied by the Woodland Trust, and they supplied to schools for free. So that all worked out very, very well. In the process, we found out that Woodland Trust would also provide community groups with trees. And both in November and March, they'll provide us with up to 420 trees. So we set about trying to find places we could plant the trees they would supply. And um, we've partnered lots and lots of farmers. So we've planted in I don't know how many different locations with lots of different farmers. And we've also partnered with a local community group called Heat Hungerford Environmental Action Team, who also we've registered with Woodland Trust to receive trees. So now we can plant 840 trees in November, 840 trees in March. Well, since we've been doing that for years and years and years, we've got to about 8,000 trees. And they've all been planted by about 24 different people. Half of them are churchgoers, half of them are not churchgoers. We meet on a Thursday morning. We start about 9 a.m. We break for bacon butties about 10:30 so that we get to talk to each other, and finish around 12. Not all of us are as young as we'd like to be, so we get tired. And this winter, this planting season, if you like, we planted 1,300 trees on Little Hidden Farm. Some of those were hedging alongside a footpath. The Woodland Trust will provide that the species we choose for free. We do the work. The farmer owns it. So the farmer chooses the species. We do the work. The farmer owns the trees at the end. And the only downside for him is we need to be allowed to visit the trees to make sure they're growing. And then we planted also a nearby farm at West Woody. We planted 100, I think it's 120 oak trees into a woodland that will be harvested eventually, many years' time, future generations for their wood. So we've had a lot of fun. It's built great community links, both for the people of Hungerford, but also it's built a lot of good news. Oh, here's an example. So this is an example of us planting. Mike Moorcroft is in the red in the bottom centre there. And we've planted, so one of the trees, the top left-hand one there is, we were planting on the Kirby estate. And one morning we planted 840 trees with about 8 of us. It was during COVID and we weren't allowed to be too close to each other, but we did all the work. And that was going to be inspected by DEFRA, so it had to be done to quite a high standard so that they could get their sponsorship back from DEFRA to pay for the trees. So we've as I say, we've enjoyed it enormously, absolutely loved it. The top right is with Town and Manor, which is a local charity that owns lots and lots of land. And we called that the Lockdown Woods. We worked with, amongst other people, lots of people joined in on that particular project. So I would commend anyone could do it. So all you need really is a team of people and a place and to talk to Woodland Trust. And Woodland Trust website is very good at showing you which species you can have, when you want them. It's been very, very easy. If you want to contact me, my contact details are all on the St Lawrence's Hungerford website. Email me. I'm never in, so there's no use phoning me. And I'm sure we could get you set up to do this. It's been great fun. And hopefully we're making a difference for the climate. I'm sure 8,000 trees ought to make a difference. Thank you for your time. I've really enjoyed being with you.
Amazing. Wow, thank you so much, Mike. Those are really staggering numbers that you talk about. And I just wondered, could I ask a
Yeah.
couple of extra questions? Firstly, I was wondering how you go about finding the land. Do you find that as you started to identify locations and through the school and through the other community groups that people came to you, or did you have to kind of go out and try and publicize to local farms and local people? How do you start to publicize is my first question.
No,
And
that's a great question.
secondly, I
So,
wondered whether you're aware of whether your project has inspired anyone else in other places around the country to do the same.
yeah. Yeah. So in our deanery, two other churches have done something similar. So Lambourne Church have planted some trees, and also St Mary's Greenham have some planted some trees. How we find the sites tends to be personal approach. So at Little Hidden Farm, what happened was the farmer passed away, and there was a funeral. But in the process, therefore, I've met the son, and the son's taken on the farm, and he happens to be into agroforestry anyway. So it's been pushing at an open door, really, which said, "Could we come and help you, Jamie?" He says, "Yeah, where do you want to start?" So, and that's been, I mean, the most embarrassing thing for my wife was when we were filling up the car in a petrol station, and there was a vehicle, a pickup truck pulled in beside us, and it said estate down the side of the road. So I just bowled up to him and said, "Can we plant some trees for you?" That didn't come to anything, but by asking everybody, some of them have come to fruition. And that's really the other one we did this winter. James Cole is one of our local councillors, and I heard he'd been having a hard time. So we looked for a project that would partner with him to try and encourage him, really build him up again. And tree planting was one that worked for him.
Thank you, Mike. That's really helpful to understand. And I think approaching people at petrol stations is probably a good idea, to be honest, spreading it as what far and wide as you can. So, oh, that's really good to hear. Thank you so much.